Málaga Radio.
Freshly squeezed.
The juice on all the daily events along the coast.
With just a little bit of zest.
Welcome to the Weekly Diary from Málaga Radio. I'm Carmen.
And I'm Baptiste.
Málaga Radio is the English language station for visitors, residents, and anyone enjoying life along the Costa del Sol.
Every morning from 8 until 11, Freshly Squeezed brings you music, weather, travel notes, and a daily look at what is happening around Malaga and the coast.
And the Weekly Diary is where we bring the wider week together. From Monday the 13th to Sunday the 19th of July, we are looking at the festivals, exhibitions, food, live music, nightlife, sport, and outdoor ideas happening across the region.
Some are large events you may already have heard about. Others are smaller local celebrations, exhibitions, and evening plans that are simply useful to know about if you are nearby.
And this is a very full week. The Virgen del Carmen celebrations spread right along the coastline with processions, boats, flowers, fireworks, local fairs, and fishing communities bringing the beaches and harbors to life.
Culture is strong as well, with the Phantom of the Opera in Malaga, evening museum programs, major exhibitions, jazz, opera, and several free options across the coast.
Food gives us espetos by the sea, wine in the hills, craft beer and cured meats in Mijas Pueblo, rooftop cocktails in Malaga, and a few much more glamorous nights in Marbella.
Music brings Sting to Fuengirola, Starlight to Marbella, Puro Latino to Torremolinos, the 101 Music Festival to Malaga, UB40, jazz, classical concerts, beach club sessions, and plenty of smaller live music nights.
And sports and outdoors moves with the summer rhythm, with evening motocross, kayaking, canyoning, sunset climbing, beach yoga, and early morning activity.
We will give you the useful details, a few practical heads-ups, and plenty of ideas to keep in mind while you are here.
You do not need to do everything. Sometimes it is enough to know what is happening around the corner.
Check malagaradio.net for event pages, links, locations, and the latest details before you head out.
And we begin with festivals and traditions, because this week belongs to the sea.
This is the Weekly Diary from Málaga Radio.
Málaga Radio.
This week, Festivals and Traditions is really one big coastal story told in many different towns. Thursday the 16th of July is the feast of the Virgen del Carmen, the patron saint of sailors and fishing communities, and across the Costa del Sol, that means processions through the streets, images carried down to the beach, boats heading out along the shoreline, music, fireworks, and local fairs continuing into the weekend.
And the important thing for visitors is that there is no single central celebration. La Carihuela, Los Boliches, El Palo, Pedregalejo, Nerja, Estepona, Benalmádena, and several other coastal communities all have their own version with different timings and different traditions. So if you are staying near the sea this week, there is a good chance something is happening close to you.
And I love this week because these are not events created for tourists. Visitors are welcome, of course, but these celebrations belong to the neighborhoods, the fishing families, and the people who have grown up with them. You can feel that very quickly when the procession reaches the beach and the whole atmosphere changes.
Our first main stop is La Carihuela in Torremolinos. The Feria de la Virgen del Carmen runs from Wednesday the 15th until Sunday the 19th of July, with activity around Plaza del Remo, Calle Bulto, and the beachfront. The main maritime procession takes place on Thursday the 16th.
La Carihuela is already one of the busiest visitor areas on the coast, so this celebration has a very particular mix. You have the traditional fishing neighborhood, the restaurants, the beach, the fair, the music, and thousands of people who may have arrived simply because they are staying in Torremolinos.
The procession moves through the old streets before reaching the shore, where the image is taken onto a traditional jabega boat for the blessing of the sea. There are also fairground attractions, live entertainment, and separate areas for more traditional and younger audiences. For families, it is worth knowing that the fair includes quiet periods when the sound systems on the attractions are reduced for children and visitors with sensory sensitivities.
And because La Carihuela is compact, the atmosphere can feel very full very quickly. You can enjoy it without needing to understand every part of the religious tradition. But it helps to know that this is not simply a beach party with a procession added. The procession is the heart of the celebration.
There will also be pressure on parking and movement around the seafront, particularly on Thursday evening. If you are already staying in Torremolinos or Benalmádena, this is an easy celebration to keep in mind. If you are coming from elsewhere, the Cercanías bus train may be simpler than trying to park near the beachfront.
From Torremolinos, we move into Málaga City, where the eastern fishing neighborhoods of El Palo and Pedregalejo have their own celebrations. The Fiestas Marineras y Deportivas de El Palo run from Tuesday the 14th until Sunday the 19th.
El Palo combines the religious celebration with a full neighborhood fair. There are local sports competitions, family activities, music, food, and events along the beachfront, with the main procession and maritime blessing taking place on Thursday the 16th. The image is carried toward the sea and placed onto a traditional jabega, surrounded by the community and other boats.
This is where Carmen becomes dangerous, because I could tell you everything about El Palo.
I was waiting for that.
But the useful version is this. El Palo feels local, it feels busy, and food is part of the experience. The chiringuitas will be active, the smell of espetos will be everywhere, and the beach becomes part of the celebration rather than simply the background.
And just along the coast, Pedregalejo holds its own procession on the same day. The image leaves the parish in the late afternoon and moves through the neighborhood toward the beachfront. At the Arroyo de los Pilones, the bearers enter the water and transfer the image onto a jabega for the maritime section.
That moment is quieter and more solemn than some visitors might expect. There can be crowds, music, and a lot of activity around it, but when the bearers reach the water, people often stop and watch very closely.
For visitors staying in Málaga City, El Palo and Pedregalejo are among the most accessible ways to see the tradition without traveling to another municipality. It is still worth checking the exact procession route and timing before heading east, because road access and bus services can change around the event.
Our third main stop is Los Boliches in Fuengirola. The Feria del Carmen runs from Wednesday the 15th to Sunday the 19th, with the main procession on Thursday the 16th.
Los Boliches has a particularly strong working fishing community identity. One of the traditions linked to the fair is the recreation of the tirada del copo, an old beach seine fishing method that was once part of everyday life along this coastline.
And during the main procession, the bearers carry the throne directly into the sea. They do not simply place it onto a boat from the shore. They walk with it into the breaking waves, which makes this one of the most visually striking Virgen del Carmen celebrations on the coast.
The maritime moment is followed by fireworks, and the wider fair includes concerts, fairground attractions, and family programming. For visitors staying in Fuengirola or Mijas Costa, it is a major local event rather than something happening on the edge of town.
It is also one of those evenings where you may go out for dinner and suddenly realize that half the town is moving toward the beach.
Exactly, and that is why a small heads up helps. The area around Los Boliches beach and the fairgrounds will be much busier than normal, particularly on Thursday evening. The train is again useful for people coming from nearby towns, although services and platforms may also be crowded.
And there is much more happening beyond those three main celebrations. In Málaga City, El Percal holds its major maritime and land procession on Saturday the 18th. This begins early in the morning with the image taken toward the port, followed by the maritime blessing, a cathedral mass, and the long return procession later in the day.
Also in Malaga, the Submariners celebration takes place at La Malagueta on Saturday evening. Divers carry the image out by boat and submerge it at the Espigón de la Virgen around sunset. It is a much smaller and more specialized tradition, but it is unusual and visible from the breakwater.
Then on Sunday the 19th, Huelen holds its main procession. The image leaves San Patricio in the early evening, reaches Huelen Beach for the maritime section, and later returns through the neighborhood streets. That procession can continue very late, and local bus routes may be adjusted.
Guadalmar also has a procession on Thursday, followed by its neighborhood veladilla on Saturday evening, with food, family activities, and live music. Teatinos and Campanillas have their own district fairs running through the second half of the week, both with local concerts, family attractions, and quieter periods for visitors who prefer lower sensory levels.
Along the eastern coast, Rincón de la Victoria holds its fair from Wednesday to Sunday, with the Virgen del Carmen procession, concerts, family events, traditional music, and the Dia del Caballo. Nerja also continues its celebration through Saturday, including the main procession on Thursday and the Moraga Popular with espetos and live music on Saturday.
Benajarafe has its own coastal fair and finishes the week with a large community paella on the beach on Sunday. In Benalmádena, the Veladilla del Carmen runs from Thursday to Saturday around Puerto Marina, combining the maritime tradition with free concerts and evening activity around the marina.
La Cala de Mijas has both the main procession and an underwater tribute by local divers. Further west, Estepona's celebration is closely connected to the active fishing port, with the throne carried into the water and fishing vessels surrounding the procession.
Cáceres Costa holds its fair from Friday Friday to Sunday, with a parade, concerts, and family attractions. Sabinilas and Castillo de la Duquesa also have coastal processions on Thursday, followed by local music and a beachside verbena.
So this is one of those weeks when you may not need to travel very far at all. If you are staying near a fishing neighborhood, a beach promenade, or a marina, keep an eye on what is happening locally. The biggest activity is centered around Thursday the 16th, but many of the fairs continue through the weekend.
A final practical heads up. Waterfront streets, port areas, and beach access points may become crowded, and temporary road closures are common during the processions. Exact routes and timings can change, so check the local program before heading out.
And when you see the boats, the flowers, the families, and the image reaching the water, remember that you are watching a living local tradition, not simply another summer event.
Check malagaradio.net for event pages, links, locations, and the latest details.
After the break, we move into culture and exhibitions with theater, museum evenings, major art collections, and a few cooler options for the middle of the day.
This is the Weekly Diary from Málaga Radio.
Málaga Radio.
After a week filled with processions, fairs, concerts, and busy seafronts, culture and exhibitions gives us a very different pace. This is where the week opens up into theater, museums, photography, historic buildings, and a few excellent options for the hotter part of the day.
And this chapter is particularly useful because the events are spread across Malaga City and the wider coast. You can make a full evening of one of the major performances, visit a museum during the afternoon, or simply keep one of the free exhibitions in mind if you are already nearby.
Our first main event is El Fantasma de la Ópera, the Phantom of the Opera, at Teatro Cervantes in Malaga. It runs from Wednesday the 15th through to Sunday the 19th of July.
There are evening performances on Wednesday and Thursday at 9 o'clock. From Friday through Sunday, there are 2 performances each day at 5 in the afternoon and 9 in the evening. Tickets range from the upper balcony options at around €22 to the premium seating at around €75.
And this is a proper theater night. Teatro Cervantes is one of those venues where the building is part of the experience, and the Phantom of the Opera gives visitors something very different from the outdoor summer program happening along the coast.
There is also a useful midweek detail. The Wednesday and Thursday performances have a 20% discount across the seating areas, so those nights may be worth checking before the weekend shows fill up.
This is one for people who want to dress up a little, sit somewhere beautiful, and let somebody else create the drama for a few hours.
And because the theater is in Malaga's historic center, you can easily combine it with dinner or a walk through the old town beforehand. It is still worth checking the final performance time and ticket availability before setting out.
Our second main stop is the Museo Carmen Thyssen Malaga, and this week the museum gives visitors 2 very different ways into the collection.
On Thursday the 16th, the museum hosts Noches Coanfi from 8 until 11 in the evening. Entry is free, the galleries remain open, and there is live music in the central courtyard alongside guided visits.
This is exactly the kind of summer museum evening I love. You are not rushing through galleries because you feel you should. You can arrive later, wander through the building, listen to some jazz, and let the visit unfold at a more relaxed pace.
Then on Friday the 17th at 8:30, there is a theatrical visit connected to the exhibition Los Ribalta y el Barroco Naturalista. The visit uses performers to bring the 17th century workshop and the Ribalta family's world to life. Tickets are around €24 with a reduced price for museum members.
So Thursday is the freer, more open museum night. Friday is the more structured theatrical experience. You do not need to know anything about Baroque painting before you go. The point is that the museum is giving visitors more than one way to connect with the work.
And both options are right in the center of Malaga, so they are easy to keep in mind if you are already spending the day in the city.
Our third main cultural stop takes us west to Estepona. The Centro Cultural Mirador del Carmen is hosting Maestros de la Luz y la Forma, de lo íntimo a lo público.
This is a major exhibition built around a private collection being shown publicly for the first time. There are around 60 works, including paintings and sculptures, with artists such as Murillo, Sorolla, Romero de Torres, Picasso, Tapiz, and Barceló.
That is a serious collection, and the useful detail is that admission is free. So if you are staying in Estepona, Casares, Manilva, or the western side of Marbella, this gives you a very strong cultural option without needing to travel into Malaga City.
The exhibition is open from Tuesday to Sunday, generally from 10 until 2 and again from 4 until 8. It closes on Mondays, and there is a midday break, so it is worth checking the hours before arriving.
And because it is at the Mirador del Carmen, you can combine the exhibition exhibition with a walk around Estepona's seafront or Old Town without turning the day into a major expedition.
Those are our three main cultural anchors, but there is a great deal more happening across the week.
In Malaga City, the Museo Picasso is showing Joana Vasconcelos' Transfiguration. She takes familiar domestic objects, textiles, and everyday materials and turns them into large-scale installations.
The exhibition is included with the museum visit, and the museum is open daily during the summer. Nearby, the Centre Pompidou Malaga has Gesture and Matter, an exhibition on international abstraction from 1945 to 1965.
And there is a good Sunday detail there.
Yes, entry is free on Sunday the 19th from 4 in the afternoon until closing. That makes it easy to combine with a port walk or the El Zoco Artisan Market at Muelle Uno.
Mucac La Coracha also has Paz Errázuriz, Poéticas de Resistencia, a major photography exhibition focused on people living at the margins of society during the Chilean dictatorship.
Admission is free, and there are guided visits on Thursday at 7 in the evening and Sunday at 1 in the afternoon. Places are limited and normally offered on a first-come basis.
At the Holy Week Museum, Paula Varona's Espacios y Luces reaches its final week. The exhibition includes 45 oil paintings focused on Malaga, coastal light, architecture, and museum interiors.
Admission is free, and Sunday the 19th is the final day. So this is one to keep in mind if you are already in the historic center and would like a quieter local exhibition.
At the Colección del Museo Ruso in the Tabacalera building, Valery Katsuba's Realismo Romantico 2 looks at physical discipline, dancers, athletes, and workers through photography.
And in Marbella, the Museo Rally continues Habitar las Raíces, an exhibition designed around touch, sound, and smell rather than only looking. There is also a free children's engraving workshop running from Wednesday the 15th to Friday the 17th in the morning.
For live performance outside Malaga City, Marbella has Noches de Ópera y Zarzuela on Friday the 17th at 10 o'clock in the evening. The concert takes place in the Parque de la Constitución with soprano Montserrat Martí Caballé, baritone Luis Santana, and pianist Victor Carbajo.
Tickets are around €25. The program moves between opera and Spanish zarzuela, so it offers a calmer open-air alternative to the much larger concerts taking place elsewhere in Marbella.
And inland, Alhaurín de la Torre hosts the Eric Alexander Jazz Syndicate on Friday evening as part of Portón del Jazz.
That concert starts at 9 at Finca Municipal El Portón. Tickets are around €25, and the setting is a garden amphitheater rather than a large commercial venue.
Benalmádena also has a very mixed cultural weekend. There is the Pink Floyd Experience on Friday and Saturday, followed by La Verbena de la Paloma on Saturday and Sunday.
Both take place at the Auditorio Municipal, with tickets starting at around €20. One is an immersive rock tribute with lighting and theatrical staging. The other is one of Spain's best-known comic zarzuelas, with traditional costumes, orchestra, and live performance.
In Rincón de la Victoria, the Cueva del Tesoro offers theatrical visits through one of Europe's very few marine-formed caves.
Those visits mix geology, archaeology, and local legend. Capacity is controlled to protect the cave, so advance booking is important.
Marbella's annual book fair also opens on Friday the 17th along the Paseo de la Alameda. There will be book stalls, signings, workshops, and author events continuing into August.
And Fuengirola opens 2 free exhibitions on Friday. Guadalquivires explores the river and regional identity through photography, while Leyendas Olímpicas looks at Olympic history, design, and cultural diplomacy.
So this is not a weak cultural week hidden behind the bigger festivals. There is serious theater, major museum programming, photography, free exhibitions, opera, jazz, books, and family workshops spread right across the coast.
You can use the museums for a cooler afternoon, make a full evening of the theater or opera, or simply keep one of the free exhibitions in mind if you are already nearby.
Check malagaradio.net for event pages, links, locations, and the latest details.
After the break, we move into food and hospitality with espetos, wine, craft beer, rooftop cocktails, and a few very different ways to eat your way through the week.
This is the Weekly Diary from Málaga Radio.
Málaga Radio.
Now we move into food and hospitality. And this week, the coast is giving us everything from sardines cooked over open fire to wine in the hills, craft beer in a mountain village, and cocktails above the city.
And the strongest food story is connected directly to the Virgen del Carmen celebrations. Across El Palo, Nerja, Estepona, and several other coastal communities, food is not separate from the tradition. It is part of the way people gather, stay out late, and share the evening.
So we begin with the espeto. Fresh sardines are placed onto split bamboo canes and cooked beside an olive wood fire, usually inside one of those sand-filled boats you see outside the chiringuitos.
The important detail is that the fish is not placed directly over the flames. It cooks beside fight the heat, picking up smoke while staying moist. July is also one of the best times for sardines because the fish normally has the fat content that makes this method work particularly well.
And when the cook gets it right, you do not need anything clever around it. A plate of espetos, some bread, something cold to drink, and the sea in front of you. That is enough.
El Palo is one of the most obvious places to experience that this week. Its maritime fair runs through the middle of the week and into the weekend, so the chiringuitos and beachfront food stalls will be particularly busy.
That does not mean you need a formal event ticket or a special tasting. You can simply walk along the beach, see where the grills are working, and stop where the atmosphere takes you.
Further west, Estepona holds its Gran Espetada around the fishing port on Thursday the 16th. The event is linked to the Virgen del Carmen celebrations and traditionally includes freshly grilled sardines served near the working harbor.
And in Nerja, the weekends with the Moraga popular on Saturday the 18th. That takes place around Plaza de los Cangrejos, with espetos, live music, and the final stages of the town's Virgen del Carmen program.
So the simple heads up is this. If you are near El Palo, Estepona, or Nerja this week, keep an eye on the maritime program. Some of the most enjoyable food moments may be happening outside rather than inside a formal restaurant.
Our second main stop takes us inland to Mijas Pueblo. From Friday the 17th to Sunday the 19th, Plaza Virgen de la Peña hosts the Festival de la Cerveza Artesanal, El Jamón y la Chacina.
It starts from 6 in the evening each day and brings together around 20 local businesses. The focus is provincial craft beer, Iberian ham, and chachina, which is the broad Spanish term for cured meats such as chorizo, salchichon, and lomo.
This sounds like a very easy summer evening. You can arrive after the heat has dropped, try a few local products, and stay for the music.
There is live music across the 3 nights, including flamenco and local performers. On Sunday, there is also a large outdoor screen showing the World Cup final.
So on Sunday evening, Mijas Pueblo gives you craft beer, cured meats, music, a mountain square atmosphere, and a football final. That is quite a combination.
It is also likely to be busy, especially on Sunday. If you are staying around Fuengirola, Mijas Costa, or Benalmádena, it is an easy event to keep in mind, although parking in Mijas Pueblo can fill quickly during evening events.
Our third main topic is wine, because there are several very different ways to explore Malaga wine this week.
In Manilva, Nilva Enoturismo offers coastal vineyard tours on Monday the 13th, Wednesday the 15th, and Friday the 17th, usually from 6:30 until 8:30 in the evening. The experience begins at the Sevima Wine Museum before moving to the Peñoncillo Vineyard.
These are old Moscatel de Alejandría vines growing on hills that look toward the sea. So this is not just sitting at a table with 3 glasses in front of you. You are seeing where the wine comes from and why those coastal slopes matter.
The tasting normally includes 3 styles of Moscatel: a dry wine, an ecological wine, and the more traditional sweet style. They are paired with regional cheeses, cured meats, and other small local products. Prices are generally around 45 to 55 euros, depending on the version of the tasting.
For something much easier to fit into a Malaga City day, the Museo del Vino holds Sábados de Vino on Saturday the 18th.
Entry is around 7 euros and includes access to the museum and a guided tasting of wines from Dio Malaga and Dio Sierras de Malaga. That means visitors can taste both the historic sweet and fortified styles and the modern dry wines now coming from areas such as Ronda and the Exarchia.
So one is a fuller vineyard evening in Manilva. The other is a simple city center introduction that you can fit between other plans.
And in the hills above Mijas, there are also small private organic vineyard visits by reservation. These tend to be intimate experiences with natural wines, estate olive oil, tortilla, cheeses, and cured meats.
Those are our 3 main food stories, but there is plenty more happening this week. In Malaga City, the Ruta Premium de Coctelería de Verano runs across several rooftops in the historic center and Soho.
Visitors use a stamp card and move between participating terraces, each with its own signature summer cocktail. The route normally runs from midday until late evening, so it can be treated as one stop rather than something you have to complete all at once.
There is the Brisa Malagueña in Soho, the Sol de la Exarchia near the Alcazaba, Hora Dorada, and even a watermelon-inspired cocktail called Talla de Sandia.
The main thing to know is that the route is pay-per-drink rather than one large ticketed package. A completed card enters you into a prize draw, but you can also simply visit one terrace.
Also in Soho, La Fábrica Cruzcampo has craft beer experiences on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Tuesday focuses on the technique of pouring beer properly, followed by a tasting. Wednesday offers a guided visit through the microbrewery and a tasting of seasonal beers. Tickets are generally around 15 to 20 euros, depending on the session.
At Mercado Central de Atarazanas, the summer food story is more traditional. The market is open from Monday to Saturday, and mornings are the best time to see the fish, seafood, fruit, vegetables, and busy market bars.
This is also the beginning of the season for tomate huevo toro from the Guadalhorce Valley. It is a large, fleshy local tomato that is often served very simply with olive oil and salt.
And simple is exactly right. When the tomato is that good, you do not need a chef to hide it under 12 other things.
Huelin's maritime celebrations include food trucks along the seafront, giving visitors a more modern street food option alongside the traditional neighborhood food.
And the Teatinos Fair brings casetas, pinchitos, fried fish, fair food, and plenty of rebujito into the University District.
Rebujito is a light summer fair drink made with dry sherry and lemon lime soda. It tastes easy, so it is worth remembering that it still contains alcohol.
Baptiste has arrived with the sensible note.
Somebody has to.
Further east, Benajarafe finishes its coastal fair on Sunday with a large community paella on the beach. There are also family activities and live music around the day.
In Marbella, the food options become much more premium. Starlight has several on-site restaurant concepts operating around the concerts, including Mediterranean Grill, Niki, Italian, Mexican, and a caviar bar.
The useful detail there is that the dining works around the performances. There are pre-concert and post-concert sittings, so reservations and timing matter more than they would at an ordinary restaurant.
La Plage Casanis in Elviria also has its Sunday sunset ritual on the 19th. The idea is a late lunch that moves gradually into a sunset DJ, session, and evening atmosphere.
So that is one for people who enjoy staying in one place for several hours rather than eating quickly and moving on.
And that really is the range of the week. You can keep it completely local with sardines by the sea, go inland for craft beer and cured meats, visit a vineyard, try a rooftop cocktail, or make an entire evening out of dinner and live music.
Nothing needs to become a food mission. Sometimes the best plan is simply knowing what is nearby and stopping when something smells good.
Check malagaradio.net for event pages, links, locations, and the latest details.
After the break, we move into music and nightlife with Sting, Starlight, Puro Latino, UB40, jazz, classical concerts, beach clubs, and a very busy week of live music across the coast.
This is the Weekly Diary from Málaga Radio.
Málaga Radio.
Now we move into music and nightlife, and this is one of those weeks where almost every part of the coast has something happening after dark. There are international stars, Latin festivals, Spanish rock, reggae, classical concerts, jazz in the hills, beach club sessions, and smaller late-night venues that are easier to discover if you already know where to look.
The scale changes completely from one place to another. You can be in a quarry in Marbella with a major international artist, at a large urban festival in Torremolinos, inside a historic bull ring in Malaga, or listening to jazz in a garden amphitheater inland.
So this is not one musical week. It is several different Costa del Sol nights happening at the same time.
Our first main stop is Starlight Occident in Marbella. The festival is active throughout the week at the Cantera de Nagueles, the open-air quarry above the Golden Mile.
And the lineup changes mood almost every night. Jean-Michel Jarre performs on Monday the 13th, Anastasia on Tuesday the 14th, Juan Luis Guerra on Wednesday the 15th, Mora on Friday the 17th, and Yandel Sinfonico on Saturday the 18th.
That gives Starlight a very broad audience. Jean-Michel Jarre brings electronic music and large-scale visuals. Anastasia brings pop and rock vocals. Juan Luis Guerra brings merengue and bachata. Mora moves toward contemporary urban music, while Yandel Sinfonico mixes reggaeton with a full orchestral arrangement.
And the quarry setting changes the whole feeling. The stone walls, the lighting, and the open sky make it feel very different from a normal arena concert.
It is also a premium event with higher ticket prices, restaurant reservations, VIP areas, and a late-night club continuing after the headline show. The venue is outside central Marbella, so transport is one of the useful things to check before the evening.
This is not the kind of place where you want to leave the taxi question until the final song.
Exactly. If you are already staying around Marbella, Puerto Banús, or the Golden Mile, Starlight is easy to keep in mind. If you are coming from further away, the return journey matters just as much as the concert.
Our second main event is Puro Latino Torremolinos. It takes place on Friday the 17th and Saturday the 18th at the Explanada del Recinto Ferial.
Doors open from around 4 in the afternoon, and the program runs well into the night. Friday includes Farruko, Ñengo Flow, Tito El Bambino, ROA, Alvama Ice, and Cyril Kammer. Saturday brings Anuel AA, JC Reyes, Juan Magan, Omar Montes, Psycho, and Kid Voodoo.
This is a younger, louder, and much faster kind of festival than Starlight. It is urban music, reggaeton, and Latin pop with a crowd that will be there for the full festival energy, rather than one single concert.
And Torremolinos is already very busy this week because the Feria de la Virgen del Carmen is active in La Carihuela at the same time. That means the town is carrying two very different visitor flows, traditional coastal celebrations around the beachfront and a major youth music festival at the fairgrounds.
So even if you are not going to Puro Latino, you may still notice the effect around transport, accommodation, and late-night movement.
The Cercanías train is useful for Torremolinos, but platforms and services may be busy around the main arrival and departure times. It is worth checking the festival's latest entry conditions and transport information before heading out.
Our third main conversation is really a group of major one-night concerts across Fuengirola, Málaga, and Marbella. And we begin on Monday the 13th with Sting at Mare Nostrum Fuengirola.
The concert takes place beside Sohel Castle at the Escenario Unicaja Banco. Doors open from around 7 in the evening, and the setting is one of the most scenic large concert venues on the coast, with the castle and the sea directly beside the stage.
This one will appeal strongly to international visitors, especially those who want a major name but a more classic rock and pop atmosphere than the urban festivals later in the week.
Then in Malaga City, the 101 Music Festival continues at the Plaza de Toros de la Malagueta. Marta Santos performs on Thursday the 16th, Loquillo on Saturday the 18th, and Il Volo on Sunday the 19th.
Those 3 nights are completely different. Marta Santos brings flamenco pop. Loquillo brings Spanish rock and a strong nostalgic audience. Il Volo brings operatic pop and a more theatrical, grand concert feeling.
And at Marbella Arena on Thursday the 16th, UB40 featuring Ali Campbell brings classic British reggae to the converted bullring in Nueva Andalucia. The following night, the same venue changes direction completely for Josh Baker, with house and techno running from the evening into the early hours.
So one venue gives you reggae on Thursday and underground electronic music on Friday. That tells you how wide the week really is.
Those are the 3 main anchors, but there is still a great deal more worth mentioning.
In Malaga City, Julio Musical continues inside the Alcazaba and the Castillo de Gibralfaro. This week includes Baroque and chamber music in the Alcazaba, followed by classical music and big band jazz at Gibralfaro over the weekend.
Tickets are around €15, and the Gibralfaro concerts use a shuttle system because private vehicles are restricted during the events. This is a much smaller and calmer alternative to the major outdoor festivals.
In Alhaurín de la Torre, the Eric Alexander Jazz Syndicate performs on Friday the 17th as part of Portón del Jazz.
That concert begins at 9 in the evening at Finca Municipal El Portón. It is an open-air garden setting and a strong option for listeners who enjoy serious jazz without a large commercial festival atmosphere.
Torremolinos Bear Fest also runs from Tuesday the 14th to Sunday the 19th. Daytime activity is centered around Eden Beach Club, while the evening moves into the bars and clubs of La Nogalera.
That gives the week another completely different nightlife identity. Inclusive beach parties during the day, followed by a district-wide night scene after dark.
In Marbella, Playa Padre continues its Mezcla residency on Thursday, with deep house, Afro house, and tribal electronic sounds running from daytime into late evening.
And on Sunday, Sundance Sundays at Sublime Beach Marbella offers a slower build from lunch and drinks into a sunset house session. These are both day-to-evening experiences rather than conventional nightclubs.
At Olivia's La Cala, Friday brings the soul and R&B retro night with DJ Henry Fierro and live vocals from Timar.
That one combines dinner, cocktails, and live music, so it may suit mixed-age groups who want entertainment without a full club night.
In Malaga City, Cosa Nuestra hosts Cosculuela late on Thursday night. Then on Sunday, Malaga Forum has De La Rose, while Sala Trinchera presents a cappella and Lil Supa for visitors who prefer Latin rap and lyric-driven hip-hop.
There are also candlelight concerts at Sala Maria Cristina on Saturday. One program reworks music by Coldplay and Imagine Dragons, followed later by a tribute to ABBA and other pop classics.
And if somebody wants something smaller and less polished, ZZ Pub in Malaga has El Trio del Saco and a jam session on Thursday night.
In Estepona, Louis has Glam Slam on Saturday and its Sunday Jam on Session, where visiting musicians can bring their own instruments and join the stage.
That is one way to go from tourist to part of the program very quickly.
It is, although confidence and timing may help.
La Cochera Cabaret in Malaga also has a Mecano tribute on Saturday, giving Spanish pop fans another indoor option.
And Marbella's Noches de Ópera y Zarzuela on Friday evening sits somewhere between culture and music, with opera and Spanish lyric theater in the open-air auditorium at Parque de la Constitución.
So there really is no single nightlife mood this week. You can go large with Sting, Starlight, Puro Latino, or the 101 Music Festival. You can go classic with UB40 or Loquillo. You can go quieter with jazz, chamber music, or candlelight. Or you can keep it local with a beach club session, dinner, and live music, or a late-night rock bar.
The useful heads up is simply to check the finish time and the journey home. Some of the biggest venues are outside town centers, and late-night transport becomes part of the evening very quickly.
But apart from that, this is a week for seeing what catches your ear.
Check malagaradio.net for event pages, links, locations, and the latest details.
After the break, we move into sports and outdoors with evening motocross, river adventures, kayaking, sunset climbing, and a few important summer access warnings.
This is the weekly diary from Málaga Radio.
Málaga Radio.
Now we move into sports and outdoors, and this week the coast is still very active. The difference is that many of the better options have moved into the evening, into the water, or into places where shade does some of the work.
That is the summer pattern. You can still find sport, adventure, and outdoor plans, but the most comfortable versions are usually earlier, later, or somewhere cooler than an exposed hillside in the middle of the day.
Our first main event is in Estepona on Saturday, the 18th of July. Vertigo FMX brings freestyle motocross to the Plaza de Toros from 9 until 11 in the evening.
This is a full spectator show with riders performing large jumps, backflips, and technical aerial tricks inside the bull ring. The lineup includes experienced international riders as well as younger talent, and general tickets start at around €20.
This is one of those events where the photograph never quite explains the height. You see the ramp, you see the bike, and then suddenly the rider is far above where your brain thinks they should be.
The evening timing helps as well. It avoids the strongest heat, and the bull ring gives the event a compact atmosphere where the audience can see the jumps from around the arena. There are also premium ticket options with earlier access and a closer look at the riders' practice sessions.
So this is an easy one to keep in mind for families, groups, and anyone who likes motorsport without needing to understand a championship table.
It is worth checking the final entry conditions before arriving because outside food and drinks may not be allowed inside the venue.
Our second main topic takes us into the water with two very different kinds of adventure. First, the Guadalmina River near Benahavis.
The Guadalmina Gorge is one of the more accessible canyoning routes in the area. It is usually classed as a beginner-level experience with swimming through pools, natural stone slides, optional jumps, and a short rappel near the end.
This is active, but it does not feel like walking under an open sun for hours. The rock walls create shade, the water keeps the temperature down, and the route feels completely different from the coast, only a short distance away.
Visitors still need to be able to swim and feel comfortable moving over wet rock. Guided operators normally provide helmets, harnesses, and other technical equipment, and prices are often around €47 to €55.
And on the eastern coast, there is kayaking and snorkeling around Nerja and the Maro Cerro Gordo cliffs.
Daily departures normally leave from Buriana Beach, with several time slots through the day. The route takes visitors past cliffs, coves, and sea caves, with opportunities to stop and snorkel in the protected marine area.
This is one of the best ways to understand that coastline. From the road, you see the cliffs. From the water, you see the caves, the rock faces, and the small corners hidden underneath them.
There is one useful update this summer. The famous Maro waterfall is dry, and some protected sections around it have access restrictions. Operators may redirect the route toward other features, including the shallow wreck known as the sunken rice ship.
So it is still a strong coastal experience, just not necessarily the waterfall photograph people may have seen online.
Exactly. Check the route being offered on the day and bring water shoes, sunscreen, drinking water, and something dry for afterwards.
Our third main topic is really about using the edges of the day. There are several good options this week that only make sense because they happen early or after sunset.
In Ronda, the Taco Via Ferrata is best approached in the late afternoon or towards sunset. The gorge walls begin to cast shade across the climbing routes, and the cooler light makes the experience much more comfortable than attempting it earlier in the day.
This is the fixed-rung climbing route below the town, with views back toward the Puente Nuevo and the houses above the gorge.
There are easier and slightly more demanding sections, but this is still a technical activity. Local guides provide helmets, harnesses, and the safety equipment, with guided prices often starting around €30 to €45.
For something gentler, La Malagueta has sunset beach yoga sessions running into the evening.
These are normally around 90 minutes and may include hatha, vinyasa, breathing work, and a sound bath finish. Advance booking is usually required, and prices are commonly around €25.
And in Malaga City, city, the Jardín Botánico Histórico La Concepción has a theatrical night visit on Thursday the 16th at 9 in the evening.
That walk uses actors, historical characters, and illuminated garden paths to tell the story of the estate. The dense plant canopy also makes the garden feel cooler than the city center after dark. Tickets are around €17, and booking is required because group sizes are limited.
So one evening gives you climbing above a gorge, yoga beside the sea, or a night walk through a subtropical garden. That is a very good range without anybody needing to be outside at 2 in the afternoon.
And there are more sports and outdoor ideas on our radar. In Málaga City, the 7th Municipal Paddle Tournament takes place on Saturday the 18th at the Polideportivo Ciudad Jardín.
The tournament runs through the day, but the playing schedule is split to reduce activity during the hottest hours.
Registration is free, although places are limited, and the closing date is before the event. For visitors who simply enjoy watching padel, it is also a chance to see how seriously the sport is taken locally.
The same venue hosts a jugger tournament and exhibition on Sunday the 19th.
Jugger combines elements of rugby, fencing, and tactical team play with padded equipment rather than conventional weapons. Public attendance is free, and the later rounds continue into the evening.
On Sunday afternoon, Playa de la Misericordia has a beach volleyball and language exchange session from around 5 until 8.
It is informal, open to different ability levels, and built as much around meeting people as playing competitively. A small voluntary contribution helps maintain the equipment.
For early water activity in Málaga City, El Palo and El Dedo are good areas for paddleboarding and kayaking.
The sea is often calmer earlier in the morning before the breeze strengthens, and local centers offer hourly rentals and beginner instruction.
In the Montes de Málaga, guided e-mountain bike tours also leave from the city and climb into the pine forest.
The electric assistance reduces some of the effort on the steeper sections, although riders still need basic off-road confidence. Tours are usually bookable in advance and often include the bike, helmet, guide, and water.
Further west, the Cruz de Juanar above Ocan remains one of the better-known mountain walks.
It has strong coastal views, but the exposed final section becomes very hot. An early start makes a large difference, and La Concha is a much more demanding route that is generally better left for cooler conditions.
Barranco Blanco near Cohen is another water-based option, with river walking, pools, and a short gorge section.
The main practical issue is access. Motor vehicles are restricted from the closest summer parking area, so visitors may have a longer walk to and from the river. Local bathing or environmental restrictions can also change, so this is one to check carefully before heading out.
Scuba diving around Marina del Este and the eastern coast is also active through the summer.
Both introductory dives and guided sessions for certified divers are available, with deeper water offering a very different kind of escape from the heat.
And for a quieter morning, the Guadalhorce River estuary in Málaga has flat walking trails, birdwatching, and lagoons close to the western seafront.
The paths are exposed, so early morning is the better time. There are no food or drink facilities inside the reserve, which is useful to know before setting off.
There are also 2 access warnings worth mentioning this week. The Rio Chilar route near Nerja remains closed.
That closure is still in force because of environmental damage, overcrowding, and safety concerns. Local authorities patrol the access points, so old travel guides describing it as an open summer river walk are out of date.
And El Saltillo near Canillas de Aceituno may still be technically accessible, but it is highly exposed and has very little shade.
In mid-July, it is not one of the more comfortable outdoor options. There are better choices this week around water, evening activity, and shaded routes.
So sports and outdoors is not short of ideas. You can watch motocross after dark, paddle below the cliffs, try a shaded river route, climb at sunset, join a beach session, or simply take an early walk before the coast fully wakes up.
The useful heads up is to check current access, start times, and local conditions, particularly for river routes, mountain activities, and protected natural areas.
And then see what feels right for your holiday.
Check malagaradio.net for event pages, links, locations, and the latest details.
After the break, we bring the whole week together with the major coastal traditions, the strongest cultural and music events, and a few relaxed ways to enjoy the days in between.
This is the Weekly Diary from Málaga Radio.
Málaga Radio.
And that is the shape of this week along Málaga and the Costa del Sol. The sea is at the center, with the Virgen del Carmen celebrations bringing processions, boats, flowers, music, and local fairs to coastal communities right across the region.
There is also a very strong week of theater, exhibitions, and live music, with plenty happening in Málaga City, Torremolinos, Fuengirola, Marbella, Estepona, and the towns in between.
Food is part of the story as well, from espetos and beachside gatherings to wine wine, craft beer, rooftop cocktails, and long summer evenings around the table.
And for sports and outdoors, many of the better options move toward the water, the shade, the early morning, or the evening.
You can take the morning gently. Use the hotter part of the day for a museum, a long lunch, or some shade, and let the evening bring the coast back to life.
Wherever you are staying, there is a good chance something is happening not too far away. A local fair, a concert, an exhibition, a market, or a smaller event may be closer than you think.
And sometimes that is all you need on holiday. A useful heads up, a place you had not noticed, and one evening that turns into a very good memory.
Check malagaradio.net for event pages, links, locations, and the latest details.
And join us every morning from 8 until 11 for Freshly Squeezed on Málaga Radio with music, weather, travel notes, and selected events from around the coast.
From Carmen and me, enjoy the week.
Enjoy the coast, and we will see you again in the weekly diary from Málaga Radio.
Málaga Radio. Málaga Radio.